Recently, the gods decided to drop me off in the middle of Boston on St. Patrick's Day weekend. Now, I'm not the sort of dude that downs a fifth of Jameson and gets into a fist fight with a police horse. In fact, I generally tend to avoid trouble, so I threw on my Philadelphia Eagles jersey since it's the only green thing I had to wear, and headed to Boston, where I was flipped off twice, told I might get jumped, and told by someone else that they hope Saquon has a career-ending injury. Then I had some food. May as well review it.
I don't wanna live.
Yep. I went to Boston and sought out some barbecue.
Holy shit.
And I did that just for you, my loyal Arkansas hole friends. Because as much as I rag on your lack of good Italian food, lack of good Chinese food, lack of damn near everything, I want you to know that you can always hang your hat on your barbecue. Because my God, was Boston's attempt at it an abomination. I went to Reunion Barbecue and really tried, to give them as many opportunities as they could to prove to me that they can do barbecue up north. I got a tray that came with 4 meats, 4 sides, and it was a disgrace. The barbecue chicken was tough to the point of it being mostly inedible. The ribs had an okay-ish texture. I mean, it wasn't falling off the bone, but it wasn't a struggle either. The jalapeno cheddar sausage was pretty good, but sausages are kind of hard to fuck up. And finally, the pork belly was an actual crime against pigs. Most of the fat hadn't even rendered, and it was slimy and downright gross. But the biggest crime wasn't even in the textures of the meat, but how they tasted. Because nothing, and I mean nothing, tasted like it had been properly seasoned. And look, I'm not asking for much. I don't expect Boston to have mastered the intricacies of a good Memphis dry run, but for fuck's sake, the food should still be seasoned. This included the sides. I got crispy roasted potatoes, which were really crunchy and had a great texture, but again, weren't fucking seasoned. Do you know how shitty a goddamn unsalted potato tastes? The macaroni and cheese tasted like straight Velveeta. Disgusting. The coleslaw, yeah, if you aren't putting pepper in your coleslaw, I don't know what to tell you. A joke. It was all an absolute fucking joke, and to make matters worse, I could have gone to Whole Hog twice for what this utter fucking disgrace cost. 1 out of 10, the banana pudding wasn't terrible.
I got the shit you could play for your mama. I got the shit you could play for the host.
Okay, so here's the deal. When it comes to Conway, I'll go anywhere since my goal is to review every single restaurant. But when I have a limited amount of time, I want to visit places like these. Humble, hole in the wall, maybe a place where somebody a lot of people in the neighborhood knew got shot sometime back in the 80s. The sort of place that if you're like me, you go there to get a sandwich, and when you turn the corner of Chandler and Berkeley, you see half the city's cops and firemen, and you think something crazy must have happened until you realize they're all waiting in line for a sandwich. So I went back to Billy's sandwich shop later to see what all the fuss was about, because Billy's is where the working men of Boston want to eat. There's no avocado toast or brie en croûte here. It's where retired laborers sit and eat their eggs and bacon and toast and rant about last night's Bruins game. It's where the current crop of working men grab a breakfast sandwich and a cup of coffee on the way to the job site. It's a kind of place that the divorcees walking their border collies deliberately avoid. In other words, it's my kind of place. I went up to the counter to order and was taken aback by the layout. The guy asked me what I wanted, and I apologized, saying, I'm sorry, I haven't been in a real sandwich shop in about 20 years. To which he immediately replied, welcome back. I got my bacon, egg, and cheese on toast, and it was just like I remembered it from days long past in the big city. But before you accuse me of romanticizing humble eats like the shameless Anthony Bourdain knockoff with less than 1,000 subs that I am, don't be an asshole, hit that subscribe button. Let me add that I went back the next day to sample a stone cold classic from sandwich shops and pizza joints in my youth, the chicken parm sandwich, and I found it to be overwhelmingly underwhelming. You see, the perfect chicken parm is a marriage of 3 elements: bread, chicken, and that magical point at which sauce and cheese coalesce into a sublime slurry. These ratios must be correct for the marriage of elements to occur. Billy's had okay bread. The perfect chicken parm requires an Italian roll. Anything more or less, and the ratios get thrown out of whack. The chicken must be cutlets, thin, well-seasoned, lightly fried. If you're using chicken tenders, you're making a cheap stepped-on bodega sandwich. Now, Billy's sauce was pretty damn good, all other things considered, but the cheese is where they may as well punt the whole thing down the street. Because I swear there was no parm on this chicken parm. Just a sad slice of what I think was provolone. But as far as sandwich shops go, you could do a hell of a lot worse than stopping into Billy's. It's a real one in the South End, 7 out of 10.
I got the shit you could play for your mama. I got the shit you could play for the host.
Okay, Arkansas people, you've heard me take huge steaming dumps all over your Chinese takeout. Want to see what it looks like when you visit a major city? Peep this shit.
Holy shit.
Hong Kong Eatery in Chinatown. They're just roasting meats all day. You pick out 3 of them, and this absolute unit hacks them up and serves them over rice with some bok choy. That's it. Now you'll notice it isn't swimming in any type of type 2 diabetic shock-inducing sauces. The meat and the residual juices coming off the meat is all that's needed. And they hook it up too. I got this with roasted duck, roasted pork, and roasted chicken, and it was $13. Though I will say that every time I eat duck, it reminds me of why I don't eat duck. Because whenever I eat duck, I get 1 or 2 amazing bites, and the rest are mostly chewy cartilage and bird uterus or some shit. Still though, good shit, 7 out of 10.
I got the shit you could play for your mama. I got the shit you could play for the host.
Alright, so check this. Here in Conway, we have a couple donut shops, Cassie's Cookies, B&B Creations, but there is one thing we definitely do not have, or at least I haven't found it yet. Un pâtisserie. En fait, je ne sais pas si c'est masculin ou féminin. Ah, féminin. Une pâtisserie. Okay, so forget everything I just said about sandwich shops and modest eats, because hot damn do I love some patisserie. It's like a bakery, only the artistry and craftsmanship are turned up to 11 and directed at pastry, where layers of flour, sugar, and butter are elevated into fine art. And despite being a chain in the Boston and DC area, Tate Bakery does this exceptionally well. I got one of the best goddamn donuts I've ever had in my entire life. Crispy and sugary on the outside, chewy and buttery on the inside. I also had something I've never heard of and can't even find the name, but it was like a hybrid of a croissant, cake, and donut with dozens of layers held together by caramelized fabrication. Tate is a place of pure, unabashed bliss, despite the mediocre coffee. 8 out of 10.
I got the shit you could play for your mama. I got the shit you could play for the host.
Billy's Sandwich Shop, Charlie's Sandwich Shop. I'm not sure if I stumbled upon an idiosyncrasy in Boston where they just call themselves a sandwich shop regardless of the design or context, but Charlie's Sandwich Shop is clearly a diner and a damn good one too. In fact, I learned something about the nature of restaurants here. See, I ordered the usual breakfast fare of eggs, breakfast meat, hash browns, and pancakes, which were green for St. Patrick's Day, but okay. And as I was eating, I developed the following understanding. When you're slinging food professionally, you only really need to make one truly great thing in order for the experience to be memorable and successful. If you can really nail just one thing, you got it. And at Charlie's Sandwich Shop, which was actually a diner, it's the hash browns, because these were the best damn hash browns I've ever had in my life. They came with onions and peppers, even though I didn't order them. But maybe that explains potatoes O'Brien that you see at the grocery store? These weren't even the crispiest hash browns I've ever had. In fact, they were kind of soggy, but they were the most flavorsome, and that made the overall breakfast experience sing. That's not to say the rest of the food was bad. In fact, the unexpectedly green pancakes were positively stellar. A damn solid, no-frills breakfast spot overall. 8 out of 10. Back in Arkansas and back to making more local content. Throw me a like and sub, and I'll see you when I see you.